So when I started this video, by the way, apologies for the noise, it will get quieter. When I started this video, I had it in mind that I would visit local sites to me and then slowly go out, you know, on trips, find places of interest and put up other videos. I didn't expect this soon into the life of the channel that I would be pretty much the furthest point in England from where I live I would actually end up in, and because that's where I am. I live in Kent, which is down in the southeast of England. Today I'm in the northeast of England, not that far from the border with Scotland. I'm up here because of an event that's happening on Saturday, and yeah, while I was up here, of course I'm up here, sorry I'm rambling a bit, it's only like 8:10 in the morning. There is a legend that I want to talk about today, and there's a place that I want to visit. I've been stumped somewhat in that it's all to do with this river. This is the River Wear, where we get Tyne and Wear, the two rivers, Tyne and Wear. This is the Wear, and the legend is associated with this river up and round the bend, right? The reason for the noise is there's a motorway. The A1 M1 is just there, and this is a busy dual carriageway, and I've just walked from a place called Chesterless Street, which is over there. It was about a 20-minute walk, all right, and I thought at this point I was going to cut through the countryside to get where I want to go. This is the bridge over the Wear, obviously, and that whacking great big tree trunk there was an early sign that I'm not going to have my own way, because this is called Black Drive, and what I hadn't realised is it's actually a private road. I thought this was the shortcut, and it is the shortest way to get to where I want, but I can't. Google Map doesn't tell me that's actually a private drive, so I've got to go back, cross the Wear on that bridge, and I think it's about another half an hour to get where I want to go to. So I'm going to do that, and when I get there I can tell you why I'm here. Well, it's an hour later, an hour's walk up a very noisy A road, following Google directions to get me to Lambton Park. Here I am at a private sign. This is it, this is Lambton Park. I've walked up the side, and at the back there was a private no entry sign, and I thought, oh, this is the back entrance to it then. And then I've walked about half a mile up the side on a public path, reaching here, and you can't go in. This can't be right. All right, I've got to reevaluate. I know over there somewhere is Lambton Castle. I'm going to see if I can get to that, but if not, I've got to just find somewhere. Look, Lambton Estate, private property. I want to talk about the Lambton Estate. If I can't find the castle, I'm just going to have to find somewhere near the river, because the river is crucial to the story, and tell you the tale there. This is very disappointing. Well, you can't get to the castle either, because you need to go through that gate. Look, can you see there's building? No, I doubt if you can see there's buildings through there, but the castle's over there, but it's on this private estate. And I've quickly had a Google review, a look at the Google reviews, and it's like, don't bother, it's all closed up. If you find a way in, everyone is really aggressive, I guess because they're trespassing. It explains, as I walked along this path, look at the state of the fence. I think this is people finding their way up here, realising they can't get in, so they break in. Well, I'm not going to do that. So I think, because I really don't know if I'm going to find the river, a good place for the river, I'm going to do the story here. And that's because, look, if you look in here, we're talking about the Lambton worm. Look, see that tree trunk, the way it goes under the ivy and up? That looks to me an awful lot like an eel, snake, worm, wyvern, dragon head. All right, so I'm going to tell the story here. Are we sitting comfortably? Also, there's absolutely no one here. but knowing my luck, someone's going to turn up almost immediately upon me whittering. All right, so Lambton Park. We're just outside Newcastle, by the way, about 10 minutes train trip. Chester Street is the big town that I've walked up from. But yeah, this is a piece of folklore, a local folklore that is centuries old and has been adapted in many ways, books, poems, songs. In fact, I only knew about the Lambton worm in 1985 when the outrageously camp Ken Russell horror film Lair of the White Worm came out, and in that the story of John Lambton and the Lambton worm was a song, yeah, that stuck with me, and then I realised it's actually based on a real actual piece of folklore, and this is what I'm about to divulge. All right, so it's the story of John Lambton, heir to the Lambton estate, for that is what all this is. He bunks off of church one Sunday, and on his way down to do a bit of fishing in the River Wear, he's warned by an old man. Well, in some accounts, there's different versions of this story. In some accounts it's an old man, sometimes it's an old woman, sometimes it's a witch. But whatever, John on his way down to the river is warned of the consequences of bunking off of church. He goes fishing in the weir and he pulls out an eel, or an eel-like or lamprey-like creature. Some accounts have it that it's the size of his thumb, some are that it's about 3 foot long. All the accounts say that he had, or it had, 9 holes on each side of its head. That's a nice, good, dramatic shot. 9 holes on each side of its head. Some of the accounts say that it had legs, some of it says it didn't. The old man returns, or a new person returns, and again warns it, gives him further warnings about his actions. But John gets bored with it and throws it down a well. He promptly grows up, joins the Crusades, and off he goes. What he doesn't know, and what nobody knows, is the worm is living down in the well. First of all, it poisons the well, and then the livestock start to go missing. Nobody knows what's going on. They go looking for the livestock, and they find that the worm has come out and has grown and grown and grown and curled itself around a hill 7 times. Some accounts say it's Worm Hill at Fatfield in Washington, where apparently you can still see the marks from it. Later versions has it that it's Penshaw Hill, and that's near here. I think it's over there. I told you somebody's coming. Somebody's bloody well coming. Hang on. It's just incredible. I had an old couple, and I'm just about to start recording again, and then a woman and her dog comes along. I think it's, yeah, people have woken up now. Anyway, Penshaw Hill, it's somewhere over there somewhere. When I was coming up yesterday on the train, and as we approached Chester Street, I could see it on the top of the hill. It's this, Penshaw Hill has got a monument on the top. It's actually a Greek temple, very striking. It's a folly, but apparently that's one of the locations where he was wrapped round. They wake the worm up. It starts ravaging the countryside, eating sheep, scaring the cows into producing milk, and taking away small children. It heads off towards Lambton Castle, somewhere over there. But the Lord, John's father, keeps it calm by offering it the milk of 9 cows a day. The villagers obviously don't like this idea, so they try killing it. But every time someone fights it, if you cut a piece off, it reattaches itself. Knights are sent to try and kill it, but they all die because the worm uses its tail to uproot trees, which it then swings as clubs to kill them. John returns from the Crusades, decides to fight it, but he goes off to Durham to see a witch for advice. And she says, right, this is all your fault. You created this. The only way to kill it is to cover your armour, because he is a knight, your armour in spearheads, and fight it in the River Wear, which is down there somewhere, as that's where it's now living, wrapped around a great big rock. But she says for it to work, after killing the worm, he must then kill the first living thing he sees, or his family will be cursed for 9 generations not to die in their bed. Let me move back round for another better shot. Let's look down his gullet, shall we? So John goes off and tells the Lord, his dad, that when he fights it, if he kills it, he'll blow his hunting horn 3 times once it is dead. That's the signal for his dad to release his favourite hound. It'll bound up to John. John kills it, job done. So John goes down to the river, fights in the river. It'd be really good to finish this off somewhere down by the river. Fights in the river. Parts of the worm are cut off by the spearhead spikes on his armour. They don't reattach themselves, they float away. He kills the worm, he blows his horn 3 times, but his dad is so excited that the worm is dead, he forgets to let the dog go. So he bounds up to his son. John is appalled, he can't kill his own dad, so kills the dog instead, even though the dog is the second thing he sees. That doesn't break the curse, and the curse continues. 9 generations will not die in their bed. That's not true. It was for the first 3 generations, they didn't, but and then I think it was the 9th generation where the next one was the one who didn't die of natural causes. So that's that. It's so frustrating. I was so looking forward to today, and coming up and going through the park and going down to the river, try and find the well, etc, etc. But I am glad we've got this terrific looking beastie as a backdrop to the story. If I can, I'll get down to the river and just do a little bit. This isn't the end of the video, because there is something fun to find down in Newcastle to show you just before I go. So I'll be back later on in the day with a final piece. Right, let's see if I can do this without interruptions. So I'm in Newcastle, at Newcastle Castle, or the Castle Newcastle, choose which. Yeah, so I'm here. This isn't why I'm here. I'm going that away shortly, but I just thought I'd mention that this is Newcastle Castle, built on the site of a Roman fort, because there, just down there, is the River Tyne, and the Romans built a bridge across it, and they built a Roman fort here. Now, the first castle, I'm being interrupted by a train now. The first castle here was built on the site of the Roman fort by Robert, son of William the Conqueror. Of course, that would have been a Motte and Bailey castle, not this. This was built in the 11th century by Henry II. Okay, it's been recently restored, as you can see there. There's modern brickwork there. That train went over that viaduct, which goes all the way along there, right? And it's completely in the grounds. Let me just move over. Isn't that a beautiful church over there? Behind, let me go right over here. As I say, river is down there. I can't even see it. Actually, I'm going to pause and come back. Right, I've come to the other side of the viaduct. There's 11th century castle keep, 12th century black gate built by Henry III. This was the main entrance into the castle, but now the Victorians, gotta love them, not the most respectful of history. Entrance into the castle, castle keep, what do? Put a bloody great railway viaduct through it that way and that way. So basically the castle keep is in the middle of a whole load of railway lines. Alright, I'm going that away now. The thing I actually want to show you, upstaging vehicles, is down there at the cathedral. Apologies for the noise, there's a bloody great extract on a wall right by me. I was going the wrong way to the cathedral. This is the cathedral, and I'm at the back of the cathedral. And the reason I'm here, and at the moment there's no one around, come to show you the vampire rabbit. Alright, as it says here, no one knows why it's on this building, which was built in 1901, but this used to be a graveyard, St Nicholas's graveyard, and one theory is that it's put there to scare off the grave robbers. I find that hard to believe. It might be a hare whose ears have been put on the wrong way round, but also it might be representing the coming of spring, much like the Easter Bunny does. Do you want to see the vampire rabbit? There he is. Let me zoom in. Originally he was the same colour stone as the rest of the building, but recently he's been painted black with red claws and blood dripping from his mouth. Yeah, a fun little curiosity. So that's it. That's my oh, I didn't say there is a story of a ghost at the castle. I should have said that back there. The Poppy Girl, the ghost of a young flower seller. All right, that's me done. Bit of a disappointment not being able to go and find the Lambton worm, but I did find a vampire rabbit.